Hey guys, welcome to the next coding assignment. This is the anagram coding assignment. What we're going to be doing in this assignment is write a program to determine if two given strings are anagrams of each other. Now, you may be asking yourself, what is an anagram? An anagram is a word that is formed by rearranging the letters of another word. Let me give you an example. Alright, so as you see on the screen, we have two words, cat and act. The letters in cat are C-A-T. These are the exact same letters that are used in the word act, A-C-T. This is an example of an anagram. Let me give you another example. Another example of an anagram is the word elbow. The reason why is because the letters E-L-B-O-W also are the letters in the word below, B-E-L-O-W. Alright, so now let's talk about the programming assignment. When we have a coding assignment like this, we need to figure out how to approach this. What is needed in our program? First of all, we know that we need two words. These two words are going to be compared against each other. So the first thing that should pop into your mind is that we need a method that takes in parameters. So we need a method that is going to take in two parameters, which are both of these words that are going to be passed in. We then need to keep track of the letters in each word passed in. So in order to do that, what we need to do is convert the string that's passed into a character array. This character array is going to allow us to be more versatile with the letters in the words. So we're going to convert this string to a character array, and then from there we'll have more control over the letters of that particular word passed in. We're also going to need to keep track of each word's length, because each word needs to be the same length. So what I mean by this is that when you are trying to compare two words to determine if they're anagrams, we need to first of all determine if the two words are the same length. If one word's length is different than another word's length, then it cannot be an anagram, because that extra letter is not going to be in the other word, which does not make it an anagram. And another thing that we need to do is sort both words and then compare them against each letter in the other word. So basically, after we determine that the words are the same length, what we want to do is actually sort the letters in each one of the words. After we sort these letters, we're then going to compare each letter in the word to make sure that they are exactly the same. Because ultimately, what we're going to be doing is comparing the letters against each other in those words. Yep, and that's pretty much it. What we're going to do now is just jump right into the code. Alright guys, so welcome to the coding portion of this video. What we're going to be doing here is pretty much just writing a program to check if two given strings are anagrams of each other. So as I said in my presentation, anagrams are words that are formed by rearranging the letters of another word. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to jump right into the code, and I'm going to walk you through this. First of all, let me zoom this in for you guys. Alright, so the first thing that we want to do is create a method. Alright, this method is going to return a Boolean value, and basically is going to take in two parameters. So two words are going to be passed in. So let's just go public static Boolean are anagrams. All right, this is our method here, and we're going to have two parameters: string word 1, string word 2. All right, All right, so here we have our method. And in this method, what we need to do, first of all, is figure out how we're going to compare the letters within this word. One way to do that would be to create something called a character array. So I'm going to do that right now. And we need a character array for each one of these words. String 1 equals word 1 dot to char array, and then char array string 2 equals word 2 dot to char array. And I'm also going to add a small comment up here so that you guys have a good understanding of what's going on. Convert the two words passed in to char arrays. Alright, so what we have here are basically just two character arrays. They're going to hold the content of the word. So the word, it starts off as a string, but we're going to convert it to a char array so that we'll be able to handle the letters a whole lot easier. Alright, so the next thing that we need to do is, first of all, realize that we do have a character array. And what we need to do next to just make our life a whole lot easier when we're writing this program would be to sort the characters within this array or this word. So we're just going to go sort the arrays. And we're just going to go arrays dot sort. And then we're just going to pass in the character arrays. String 1. We can just copy this. And then string 2. Alright. So what's going on here is I'm going to have the two words are passed in. We're going to have two words that are passed in. We are then going to convert those words to character arrays. And then from there, we're basically just going to sort the arrays. So it's going to sort the content of these arrays in ascending order based on the word that's passed in, based on the letters that are actually passed in from each one of those words. All right. The next thing that we're going to do is we need to keep track of the length of each word passed in. Now, the reason that we want to do this is because this is going to allow us to quickly determine if a word is an anagram or not. So we're going to do this. We're going to go int string length 1 equals string 1 dot length. Then we're just going to do the same thing. String length 2 equals string 2 dot length. All right. So what we've done, we've created an int variable which is going to hold the length of string 1 and the length of string 2. All right. So after that, we then want to compare the length of each one of these strings. We're going to check the length of each string to determine if they are anagrams. So what we're going to do here is, first of all, write a conditional statement that is going to check the length of both of these strings. So if the length, so let's just say this. Let's say we have two words and they have different lengths. So if these words have different lengths, they cannot be anagrams, because an anagram is basically a word that, as I said before, is formed by rearranging the letters of another word. So basically, we're going to take all the letters in one word and then compare it against all the letters in another word. And if one of those words has one more letter than the other, then it cannot be an anagram. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. So we're going to jump right into this. If string length 1 is not equal string length 2, then what we're going to do is just print out, or actually return, false. And then we can also print something out as well. This is pretty much just going to be the 2 words are not anagrams. All right. So simply by comparing the length of both of these strings, we can quickly determine if these words are anagrams. But we also have to solve for the case if both of the words are the same length. So if the words are the same length, then we have to add a little bit more logic, and that's what we're going to be doing right now. All right. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to determine if the 2 words are anagrams, and by doing that we have to create ourselves a loop which is going to iterate through each letter in the string that is passed in. So let me just write a comment. So we're going to determine if the 2 words of equal length are anagrams. The loop will compare each char in the sorted char array in the sorted char array. All right. So what we're going to do now is actually create ourselves a for loop. For int I equals 0, I is lesser than string length. That's going to pick string length 1, I plus plus. All right. So what we're going to do next, so basically what we have here is just a for loop. We're basically going to loop through the length of a string because basically we're just going to use this amount here to basically iterate a certain number of times when we're checking each one of those letters. And each one of those letters in a word as we compare it to the other word. All right. So the next thing that we need to do inside the loop is compare the letters of each word to determine if they are anagrams of each other. I've said anagrams so many times in this in this tutorial. All right. So then we want to go if string 1 at position I is not equal to string 2 at position I, then we want to return false. All right, so let me kind of explain what's going on here. So what we're doing now, we have a loop. We're going to iterate through this loop a certain number of times, and inside of this loop, we're going to have this if conditional statement. Now, in this conditional statement, what we're doing is we're taking the string 1 at position I, so we're comparing the character of the first string at position I, and we're comparing it against string 2 and the character at position I. We're comparing each of these words together. And this will be the check that fully determines if the word is an anagram or not. So as you see up here, we've already sorted the two strings. And now, once we jump down here, we're going through a loop and we're just simply comparing the strings one character at a time in ascending order. So if string 1 at position I is not equal to string 2 at position I, then we want to return false. And then we can also print something out. The two words are not anagrams. All right. Okay. Then what we want to do next is actually return true, which I already have down here. And I'm just going to print this out. The two words are anagrams. All right. Yeah, and this is pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward. It's not too difficult. This is a simple coding interview assignment. And to just go over it once more so that you guys fully understand, we're going to start from the top really quickly. So basically, we have a method called our anagrams. It's going to return a Boolean. We're going to pass in the two words into this method. We're then going to take those two words and then convert them to character arrays, which we have done here. After that, we're going to sort the character arrays that we have. And what's going to happen here is that these character arrays are going to take the characters and then sort them in ascending order, ascending alphabetical order. Next thing that we want to do is we're going to keep track of the length of both of these words, because the length is going to be something that we use to determine if the two words are anagrams. So basically what we have here, we have an if conditional statement, which is going to compare the words based on length. If the words based on their length are not the same, then we can confirm that these two words are not anagrams. And then we can also return false right here. Next, you can see that I have created a for loop, which is going to iterate a certain number of times based on the length of the word. And inside of this loop, what we're going to do is compare the letters of each word against the other word to determine if they are anagrams of each other. So if string at position I is not equal to string at position 2, and keep in mind string 1 and string 2 are sorted based on our method that we have up here, we're basically just going to return false. So after comparing those letters within the word, if they're not the same, if one of those letters is off, it is not an anagram. And then we're going to return false. Else, if that's not the case, we're simply going to return true. And we're also going to print this out, that two words are anagrams. So the next thing that we need to do is simply just test this out. We're going to go back up to our main method here, and then we're going to execute this method, our anagrams, and then we can pass in two words. So let's just pass in the words actor and then co-star. These are not going to be anagrams, but we're just going to run this. The two words are not anagrams. Okay, so that's exactly what we want. Now let's try another two words. Night and then thing. Save. And then we're just going to run this. The two words are anagrams. And this is pretty much it. Hopefully you guys understand exactly what I did here. Hopefully I did a full-blown explanation. And if you have any questions, like I always say, leave them in the comments below. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video if you've learned something from here. Also, don't forget to subscribe. and see you in the next one.